Okay. Do, 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 do.
Let me smash.
Hello. So, I may ask you to be a body, because I don't think I can actually start a game unless I have a second person on the opposite team. So, I may need that for demonstration purposes.
I have my fucking mic muted. I can say I can do that, but I'm gonna my alt.
Yeah, that's fine. I just had some good games on PvP, so I'm gonna figure out how to make a custom game real quick. Or I even go. I am already streaming, which is great. Bot test testing grounds. Okay. Thought testing grounds, password protected. Thought.
Hello.
Hello.
My goodness, you on your phone and your phone cronky.
Sorry. I'll mute.
No, I just thought you also turned way the fuck up because your desktop mic is quiet. Let's see, is this map full? Joining on with us. It is
Wait,
full.
get on here, Exet. I need a body.
Alright, where am I getting on? Where am I getting in?
Just go into the PvP lobby.
Okay, Heart of the Mist.
And actually, I may need to. Starting players 1, size. It's fine.
Good hunting.
Do. We're gonna go Capra. It's Capra.
Okay, I'm in PvP lobby. Where the hell I
Alright.
go now?
Give me a second.
Okay.
Dot squad. Eddie. 7-5.
I think you should teach this like you were a self-defense instructor. You know, be all hype and all that. Be like,
I'll
you
get
gotta kill them before they'll kill you.
that's not how I do. I've four
I know,
thoughts.
but I think it'd be funny.
So I think there's kind of two ways we can do this. I think is that we will have swap teams. Okay, save that. So I'm creating a custom arena for us, and so it's called Thought Testing Grounds with the password Thought with a capital T.
You must visit more often.
So, all right, you do need to okay, you do need to join it. So what you can you go into your PvP panel?
Yes, I can. I have
And
it
then
open.
in your PvP panel, go to the very bottom to the game browser,
Okay.
and then search Thought Testing Grounds,
I thought that would come up.
and then join game.
Thought testing ground. Here it is.
And it's Thought capital T.
Yeah. All right. Password. What's the password?
Thought capital T.
Oh,
Like with a
I thought
capital
that
T.
was for the game name.
All right. Let me know when you've loaded in. I should see it, but
I'm loaded in. No, I'm not. She's waiting for players.
all right, that's good.
Well,
Can
okay,
you
I'm on
see?
the
Can you
map.
see the map itself?
Yes.
Okay. Good. Let's do. So, give me a second. I have to remember how to do this. My customs. Now, let's see. Because I should be able to start it. Give me a sec. Okay, it just reloaded map. We may need to go to a smaller map. So, I think that might be part of the issue.
Tell me what to do, when to do.
It's not going to work. Progression.
Why is my mouse pad sideways? What the fuck?
I have to look up some of the controls here because that is weird that it's not letting it get started. Second. I've not opened a custom arena before, so it is a little... I actually know. I should be able to go because I was able to run around in a different thing. So settings, maps, controls. Okay. Are you in the where it's waiting for players?
Yes.
Okay.
The match starts soon.
There we go.
Union Swarm versus Termino.
There are custom arena commands. So, Xed, I just need you to be a body. It should be
I
counting down.
Yes. Game
Good.
start in 5.
Okay, good, good. Welcome to...
Hold on to your points.
Wow,
Seize
how am I?
theirs.
That's weird.
An enemy ship is
Am I
pulling
supposed
into
to
the
be, like,
harbor.
in the
It's
game?
the Capricorn.
We should be in the game.
I look like I'm spectating or something still.
Yeah, that's weird. Give me a second. That shouldn't have happened. So... Spectators, force respawn. I'm gonna hit save on spectators and see what happens when we do that. I'm gonna turn on auto balance. That should... Starting players 1, team size 1. Spawn type. Okay, let me look up more of the controls here. I'm gonna do that. Click. And then I'm gonna work on these settings. Oh, I may need you to rejoin. Well, dear. Okay.
We are all learning about PvP. Low Lamau.
I'm custom arena. Guild Wars does custom arenas really weirdly. First of all, it has a cache, you know, where you're going to do the same thing and go into the thought testing grounds.
Okay. Thought testing ground.
Now I'm a character. Okay, that's because I turned off spectators. Okay, good, good. Let me know when you're in.
It's loading.
The match starts
Oh, good.
soon.
So yeah, we can start now. So yay, welcome to PvP. Um,
I'm beat your ass. I got this. I'm a
so
pro.
Steen, since you're my your interest, what do you already know about?
Hold on to your points. Seize theirs.
So I know
An enemy ship is pulling
the
into
basic
harbor.
mechanics
It's
of
the Capricorn.
PvP. Like, you need to capture points, you get points if you kill enemies, you don't want to die.
Yeah.
You know, they're different roles typically. You know, people who cap points, you know, typically classes like Thief who just run around decapping and stuff.
Okay.
People who are designed to fight, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know a lot about the specific roles or like,
They've taken the bazaar from
decision making in the moment.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. So of course, you know the basics of stuff where you have 500 points is the goal. There are 3 points on or 3 nodes on the map. And you have 5 players on each for general conquest. There's also 2v2 and 3v3 deathmatch seasons. And I'm only talking about the modes that you can play and rank, and in general, no matter what, for max rewards, you should always be playing in rank, rather than unrank. It doesn't matter. If you're, it's just, unrank is literally just less rewards. So yeah, you have that. But I'm mostly going to be talking about Conquest, because Conquest is the most common thing. It's been around the longest, has the most maps, and is 5v5. So that's the 3 points, 5 players, bunch of different things.
Unlock ranked.
So yeah, there are 3 nodes. Each node, it's close, mid, and far are the nodes. I'm gonna ping on my stream. Close is closest to your spawning point. Mid is usually center of the map, and far is close to the enemy's point, and the furthest away from your spawn point. In most games, there's one person at the beginning is going to cap close, and then 4 people will go mid. There are different things that happen with that, but we'll talk about those. Capturing points has some interesting mechanics. You generally have to stand within the ring, but not on the symbol. So in this ring, we'll be capturing. Outside of the ring doesn't. And other things that prevent you, there are things that prevent you from capturing. Any invulnerabilities, any vulnerability skills like Distort or Guardian's elite skill that resets their whatever they're called. Those will make you invulnerable, and you no longer contribute to capturing the point. Dodges do keep you on the point. So like Mesmer dodges, or what is it called? Barrage dodges, even Thief Daggerstorm, you're still capturing the point while you're doing all of that. Stealth will make it so you can't capture a point. So thieves can't be in stealth and capture a point at the same time. And then, Exec, can you join me on this midpoint?
Okay.
Having another player, enemy player, on the point will prevent you from capturing the point. So you have to be on it without an enemy player on it, not invulnerable, and not in stealth. Captured points will generate 1 score every 2 seconds. If you do the math, which is, I did the math and I couldn't believe it, that means in a 15-minute game, if you started with all 3 nodes, it actually only goes up to 450 points instead of 500. So that's yeah, I did that too. I made that. I was like, what? After I did the math. And you literally can't start that way. Enemy player takedowns are 5 points each. And then every map objectives on each map can give you points or do something else. So I'm gonna capture this real quick, and it's gonna give me 25 points, and it'll do a thing. This is Capricorn. It'll do a thing where the next time my team captures this, it'll get me 50 points instead. But for the other team, it'll give 25 points still.
Basically, you get momentum. The more times on this map you capture this special point, the more points you get.
Every map has a unique objective that all do different things. But there are 450 points that you get from points like completely max should tell you that usually what gets you to 500 is enemy kills or alternate objectives. Also, you do win if you have more points by the time the 15-minute timer goes down. So no matter what, your game is not going to be longer than 15 minutes. Most games are between like 10 and 12 minutes from my experience. Even stomps are like 7 minutes because usually you get a few kills and then you capture all 3 points, and then it depends on the objectives on that map. So PvP is all about time, and time is huge in this game. So capturing a point, and can you come over? Actually, no, I'm red, aren't I? Yeah. So this is a neutral point. It is completely white. It is no favor towards Xet, and stand outside the point. No favor toward red team or blue team. So it takes a full 15 seconds to capture a point, which is a lot of time. So I'm sitting here capturing this point. Great. So I'm gonna stand off the point, and Xet, go on the point. It takes 5 seconds to decap a point to neutral. So there is a 10-second difference between capping and decapping. So you're heavily rewarded for decapping, but it takes, if a point is fully capped for one team, it takes a full 20 seconds to decap it and then full cap it. Versus just a decap, which is 5 seconds. Note on timers is that, again, you get a point every 2 seconds if you own the point. So if someone captures a point and then you decap it immediately afterwards, they're still gonna get 2 points. But then you decap it, and then they have to spend the time it takes, 15 seconds, which only prevents basically 7 points from being on their team. So you basically have a net of 5 points gained that you don't notice because it's basically gained in them not getting a score. So a note on time. The time it takes to take down a player, Xet, can you just stand there for me? And actually, Xet, try to do like evade me and do a defensive skill. So time it takes to kill a player varies. It can take a ton of time, it can take a little bit of time. It depends on the player, the damage, but it takes time to kill a player. And so we've got Xet here, who is going to die. And then they go in downstate. Yay, they're downstate. I've got this. No, when people are in downstate, that still is contributing to them being on a point. But the skill Xet just used, Xet coming to the point.
Your Warrior 3, since you are
to the point.
A Warrior fan.
That is still capturing for me, despite Xet being there. But it takes 15 seconds to respawn from death. Note, that's a number that you should be familiar with, because it takes 15 seconds to capture a point from neutral.
Yeah.
And kills are immediate 5 points. So the time it takes me to move from the midpoint to go far and recapture this point is the same time plus a little bit that Xet will take to respawn. Assuming, and I'm on a thief, which is the fastest class because of all this port shenanigans. So that is something to note, and just how you're thinking is you want to stay alive, because 15 seconds of not being on the field isn't just like you not doing anything. It is a 4v5 on the map, which means everyone else dies faster. It is 15 seconds of potential point gain. It's like 3 decaps total. It's a huge deal to die, and also a huge deal to kill your opponent. So killing people and not dying is huge. And some people will be like, just, fight on node and die on node. Don't listen to them.
I die on no truther.
They are quite wrong. So yeah, and with how many points you get from kills, it matters a lot. So 15 seconds is my death timer. I'm gonna take forever for me to respawn. In that time, exec could decap this point, go home, and full cap their point. They could go to Capricorn. They could win a team fight for their team. Generally, you don't want that to happen, like, no matter what. So knowing your defensives and also how to get out of a fight as well as get in a fight is just as important, is more important even than capturing a point, decapping a point, etc. Because of all that. Now, objectives like the Capricorn Bell, I was just in a game that we got it to where it was 75 points total, and like it started off as a 2v3, which I normally wouldn't go into. Or no, it was a 2v4 and I was on the 2 side. I would normally leave, but it was 75 points. We had 425 points total, and we had teammates coming through. That was way more important, and I was okay dying to make sure that we were able to get that, because 75 points mattered a lot more than 25. So sometimes you can give up objectives. Like if Gazette wanted to get that 25, I wouldn't really care if it meant we got map control and all of our teammates are alive and we had a rally. Like, it's 25 points, oh well. But if it's 75, that becomes a lot more valuable. Is that making sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
In short, if Chevys wanted to capture the Shinto point, I should be hauling ass over to stop him.
Yeah.
75's a lot.
Yeah, but now you also have to look at the rest of the map, because even if it's 75 is a lot, and there's a sneaky thief who captured 2 points and you're neutral on the other point, while our team is stalling at this fight here, you're in a catch-22 of, well, we're gonna lose to the bell or we're gonna lose to the points ticking down. So yeah, it's basically nodes do matter a lot, because the longer you have a node, especially if you're able to survive on that node, that is putting a passive amount of pressure on that team to do something about it. But if you're unkillable, like you're so good at kiting, you can keep a node neutral for a long time, you can bring 2 or more players to you while still staying alive, you're extremely valuable, because you're bringing 2 players to you and they're not killing you. They're spending all of their time messing with you, who's not going to die, when the rest of the team, it could be killing someone or capturing a point to gain those passive points, or just surviving 4v3 on the map, because that's always going to be an advantage. Numbers matter a lot more than like even your build or your role. If you are able to 2v1, like, you're not going to be killing people in 2v1, but you might survive, and you might be able to leave, and you might waste people's time, which that matters, but that still requires you to, live. So that is another part of the game that's pretty important to understand. But yeah, generally, and here's another way to think about it, I should say, before I give it generally, is it takes 10 seconds for a node capture to be equal to a player dying in terms of just score alone. This doesn't include the 20 seconds it took to decap and recapture. Including all of it, it takes 30 seconds for a node to be worth a player death. assuming you have to decap and recap that node. If
Yeah.
that's what's happening. So if you own a node, and you're standing on that node, and even then, if someone kills you, like, and it's even a 1v1, that's 30 seconds of time that person's wasted, and it's only a 15-second respawn. So owning a node and dying on that node can be important, but not in the full scheme of things, especially if someone just decides to decap and leave. Or if that person's super annoying to you, like you brought a second player over. Because if you bring a second player over, then the rest of the map gets a little fucky. We're gonna enter another game in a second. I'm gonna do. I'm gonna work on the commands real quick. Oh, it's automatically moving us to a different map. Cool. Okay. So we're on Kylo now. Which has a different map objective, but it's not as important. Go to the middle when you respawn, when the game starts.
Okay.
So all of the numbers and stuff I've given, they have not factored in how long it takes players to move, at all. That is literally just, how long it takes, how the points measure up. And you're still getting like net positives and stuff. So say I'm on my home node and I'm a thief, so I'm gonna move pretty quickly. And I want to move to mid. Well, I do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna jump over, and I'm in mid in like 5 seconds as a thief. Could you try going to the house from here and try to count it?
Alright.
I'll watch. And just like, you can use your movement skills, but yeah.
Clock tower captured.
And it took you what, like 10 seconds? Yeah.
Enemy captured the mansion.
So thieves move really fast. And for Exet, it's gonna take, Exet's a warrior. Warriors are often try to stay on points or in team fights. So Exet's gonna capture that point, and then say Exet leaves, and I immediately decap it afterwards because I'm a thief. I can be in stealth, and I could be like chilling. If Exet leaves, I could be chilling here and just be like in stealth, and then pop over, and that 5 seconds that took me to move, I gave myself too much stealth, but that 5 seconds it took me to move, and then the 5 seconds it takes to decap, while Exet took 10 seconds, and then another 15 to cap the point, 25 seconds versus 10 seconds, I'm a net win, and we're gonna overtime gain more points than the other team, because if we kept repeating that scenario. Of course, that doesn't factor in, other teammates, but in general, just the idea is moving and decapping and capturing things, and then holding them is another factor. Now, Exet, could you stand on mid for a little bit?
Yeah.
And then say I'm a thief. This is a warrior. I can like pop in and do stuff real quick. I might do a quick damage, and Exet, please live. But say I can't kill this warrior. So, and Exet's kiting around and moving around. I've just even though, like, if we don't kill, that's just a waste of time for me. Exet's gaining passive points from having the point, and I'm just, killing time and not being useful. Where Exet, be living and try to fight me. Exet is going to, all this is going to take time. Takes a while for players to kill, and look at that, I have to get out because Exet's going to kill me. And yeah, it wouldn't end well, essentially. So knowing your fights and what you're going into can be really important. Generally, thieves aren't probably not going to fight a warrior unless they're a lot better than the warrior. Like, I can probably fight Exet, but it's still risky. So like I can just kite Exet and make them upset and then pop
Make you
in
cry,
and,
your warrior.
and try to fight a warrior. I can stealth and backstab and all this jazz and go in and then and kill Exet. But now I'm not waiting just for Exet to die. I am also waiting for the down state to end. Before I even contribute to doing anything. And now Exet's even delaying it further, and I'm
Well, you
wasting so
start
much time.
decapturing
And if
at
I
that
die,
point,
it sucks. So now even more time is being wasted, and that finally Exet dies, and I can capture the point. And all that time, the rest of the teams could be joining us. They could be coming to fuck us up. There could be other things happening on the map where you could be useful. So yeah, it could. There's a lot that's going on here, but I think time is the most important factor. If you think you're wasting time being somewhere, do something else. If you're going to die, dying is another form of wasting time. So you can do something else. That's better than dying, like moving. Moving is good. So yeah, dying is just lost time. But that's kind of in general what you should be thinking about while playing
I'm
in
wasting a lot
Conquest.
of time here, baby.
Yeah, this is a secondary objective on this map. It's the trebuchet. And all it is, it's a trebuchet. It's exactly as it is in World v World. It probably does more damage than in World v World, to be 100% real. And it can completely sit on top of a point. It is sometimes worth it, but most of the time it is. And you can destroy the enemy trebuchet, and then a repair kit will spawn in your spawn point. Let me go over to show you what Treb is doing on that point. Exet, just keep hitting the point there.
Alright, oh, you want me to hit it with the trigger?
Yeah, keep
Okay,
hitting
alright.
it. So imagine there's
yeah.
a team fight over here, and it's a 4v5, and try to hit the midpoint. And then this thing comes in, and everyone's blown their dodges, and I just took like
It takes like
a
half
shit
your
ton
health,
of my
I'd
health.
say.
I'm a medium armor class with the lowest HP score, and say there's a fight, everyone's burned their dodges, and that comes in. Yeah, that's a one fight. So it can sometimes be worth it. Most of the time it isn't, because you're sitting there for a million years, and it could be completely useless. Okay, let's talk about roles. I'm gonna put a doc in the server. Worked on this today. So roles meta battle has a link that it's an excellent guide to the roles in PvP, and I would literally just be copying and pasting a lot of what they say. But yeah, there are roles that teams and you generally do, and it's honestly better to think about what role you want to play rather than the class or specialization you want to play. Because usually the role dictates how you are effective at that role is dictated by the class and specialization you use. And what class and specialization you use is generally dictated by the meta at the time. So which can change with balance, but the roles have not changed. So generally you'll probably figure out how to play one type of role for a while, and then maybe you'll learn something else or play something that's kind of a hybrid of things, because that exists. But yeah, so kind of summarize the meta battle article that's under the role section. There's the roamer or the +1. The roamer and +1, their goal is to move around the map and burst down targets, ensure fight is won, and also to potentially decap points and then move back and allow your team to have outnumbered scenarios because someone's spending 15 seconds capping while you're taking 5 seconds to decap. So this class is saving time the class, If you're against a good roamer or +1, it's annoying as hell. It can stall out games, or it can curb stomp games. It's that kind of type of thing, because thieves are the notorious +1 role. They've been the best kind of just decap and plus fights for a long time. They've been meta forever. Dagger pistol thief in particular, which is what I'm playing, is ridiculously fast. It is the fastest of the classes in terms of movement, because we can just go all over the place and be annoying. But it actually does sacrifice a little bit in damage. So even if Xet's standing there, like a full ass warrior, even most of my burst is just like that. That's 20%. Like, that is a good 70% of Xet's health, but that's not enough by myself. That's where it's called a +1, because usually you have someone else is already fighting on that point, and you plus them, and if you're instantly dealing 30% of their health, plus poison, plus mobs, plus slowing them, and then follow-up attacks while your teammate's hitting them and taking that burst opportunity, they're probably gonna die. And then you just move to the next fight. You don't actually stay there unless you see someone else coming in. That's kind of the role of the +1 and the roamer. Thieves are usually that role. Deadeyes and what is my class called? Deadeyes and Daredevils are very good roamers, +1ers. Deadeyes generally are also kind of team fighters at the same time, as well as Spectres. Spectres can do kind of everything. But yeah, Thieves generally will always be able to move around and do a roamer +1 role. Some Mesmers will also be doing that. Mesmers on Mirage, some Mesmers on Chrono, some Mesmers on... Actually, well, not Virtuoso. But yeah, Mirage and Chronos often are playing +1 roles. Some Willbenders are +1s or team fighters. Revenants can do +1s, and very rarely Engineers can. And other classes can as well, but those are kind of the usual suspects of the +1 kind of class and role. Second one is the bunker or node holder. Their job is to secure nodes and then don't die, even against multiple players. Like, if, say, Xet is a berserker, berserkers can often be team fight or the bunker node holder, and I'm just autoing. It's gonna take 10 years to kill Xet. It takes a long time either way, even if I'm like trying to kill Xet super hard. Like, Xet hurts. Even look at that, I just wasted a bunch of time trying to kill Xet, and it's really hard to kill them. So yeah, bunkers +1s, their job, they save time by surviving and surviving more, and then surviving more, because their job is to waste the enemy time, put pressure on the map. They don't have to win the 1v1. It's but if they win the 1v1 and it's kind of a skill thing. It is one of the things where you just like get better.
Skill issue.
It is a skill. Yeah, it is 100% a skill issue. So yeah, it is one of those things where it's a skill issue. So I have played this role. It is hella fun to troll the enemy team, but it's also incredibly frustrating when everything is killing you, because you're gonna be in 2v1s a lot. I'm not gonna talk about kite spots very much, but like, they're gonna be the ones finding all the kite spots in the maps, just doing no ports, all that jazz. Commonly, warriors and rangers are oftentimes really good at playing bunker and node holders. Some revenants also do it. Revenants basically do everything. In general, they do build differently, but the class itself can do everything. Some mesmers also are bunkers, and usually if it's a mesmer bunker, Meta, it's one of the worst metas that can possibly exist. So yeah, it sucks for everyone involved. And then engineers, some thieves, specters, and then elementalists, particularly weavers, are really good bunkers. So yeah, that's that role in general. Team fighters. Team fighters, their goal, fight with the team.
Before you get killed.
Generally it's fight with the most members of the team. Usually like where +1s in bunkers are generally kind of fighting like on isolated sections, maybe 2v2s, 1v1s, 2v1s. The team fight is usually 4v4s, 3v3s, 5v5s, and the team fighters want to be there. Team fighters generally move pretty slowly because their skills, your utility bars, are used for damage and survival and not necessarily movement. So they kind of want to live and survive and obliterate the enemy team. Usually more than one of the enemy team at once. So this is where they cleave and keep allies alive and try to win the fight. Because if you get 3 kills, you're gonna snowball the map a lot harder and force the team either to be staggered because you killed like back to back to back, or be just all spawn at the same time and have to regroup together because you killed them all at the same time. And so winning team fights is if you get a 5-person wipe, that's 25 points. And that is, a lot of points.
Hold on to your points. Seize theirs.
So, common team fighters. Generally, there's the damage ones. They're almost all necros are gonna have some form of team fight ability. Because they're slow as hell. And they have a lot of AoEs, a lot of AoE utility, a lot of survivability because of Shroud or Barrier. So yeah, almost all Necros are gonna be in this role. Some Guardians, particularly Burn Guardians, and Willbenders can be in this role. And Dragon Hunters, Revenants, Warriors, and Engineers as well can also be in this role. Think Hollowsmith, think Condi, Herald, some Thieves, and Thief does spend a lot of time in team fights, being on the outside and like picking down a semi-low target like pretty quickly. So some Thieves. And then the last kind of role is support. Support I kind of put in line with team fighting because they're generally spending their time in the team fights. But Meta Battle calls it a second separate role, and so fair. But supports, their job is to keep people alive, keep people up and well. Make sure that people get up, people can do their thing, because no matter what, no matter good you are, your health is gonna go down, and you have 1 heal skill. And supports are able to do CC. They also, and because of how like they've made the game, is supports are also doing a pretty moderate amount of damage, because just how ArenaNet works in balance, because they basically removed healing power from all the amulets because it became way too bunkery. So supports generally have to run Sigil of Transference to do their thing. And so yeah, it can be pretty neat. Generally supports are Tempest, Guardians, Scourges. Some Warriors and some Revenants can also be support. But Tempest and Core Guard are the most common supports. So it's just one of those things. That was a actually pretty quick kill on Exet, but that Exet didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So that's what happens if you don't do anything. You can die. So press your skills, press your buttons. So yeah, those are kind of the very gist of PvP in terms of points and roles. But yeah, the points part and the time part is probably the most important thing. And you're gonna see a lot of players as you play get this wrong in what decisions you're making, because they will be too far one way or the other. Points are important, so are kills, and so is staying alive. Staying alive is probably the most important. Even beyond killing somebody, staying alive is more important. But it's a balance between all of the things. So we're on Forest of Nephilim. This is the secondary objective on this map. There are two of them. There's Svanir and there's the Chieftain. They're PvE mode. And anyone can kill them, and they give a pretty minuscule 25 points and a buff for your team. The team that kills it, which is not very big. So it's right here. It is 50 points to all base stats. And if you get both of them, it's 100 points for all base stats for 90 seconds. And then you are also getting 30 points, 25 points from just killing it.
Which I have beautifully demonstrated. You can also just steal the bear right at the very end, and usually the person's weakened from fighting.
It's a last hit. It's not a who deals the most damage. It's who gets the last hit. So it can be a bit frustrating if you spent a lot of time and some thief goes in and steals on top of it and kills it, and then you've lost all of your hard work. So people only generate, like, the proper way to do these objectives is to, if you have control of the map or there's like nothing to do, like say you have mid and close and you just wiped out 3 people and you can see their swords on the far, so there's a fight going on, then you can, think about going and killing this because there's nothing better to do at the moment, and 25 points is 25 points. So
it's 5 enemy kills.
Yeah, it is 5 enemy kills, but it has none of the map control that comes with enemy kills.
Yeah.
Generally you actually lose map control going for it because you're sitting there spending so much time trying to kill a thing that you could have used killing an enemy or capturing a point. But it's a lot of time. They're not like they're not. I'm gonna do my burst on that creature because I got exact 70% down doing my quick burst, and my quick burst is just impairing daggers, steel, Heartseeker. So let me do that on this. Yeah. I did 10% with my burst, and then I even got an additional shadow shot in there to get it to be 15%. So yeah, no, they are tanky. They're tanky boys. So they will, they're usually not in most games, they're not worth it unless you already have control and you know what's going on around the map. At this point, questions?
I guess my question right now would be like, how reactive should you be to your team's current setup, right? Like if I matchmake into a game and we have 4 thieves, am I switching to not a thief?
So
or,
matchmaking will only allow 2 of one class.
Okay.
So
cool.
you're never gonna have 4 thieves in a, well, I mean, unless the queue is absolutely fucked, you're not gonna have 4 thieves. I have had 3 of one class before. or I've had people swap to all be one. It was great. But generally you can probably ignore like your team's comp, especially in solo play, because you don't know how good your team is gonna be.
Fair.
And you don't know if they know what they're doing. So I generally think to just ignore them, and play my game. But I also play the +1 or roaming role a lot of the time, or the bunker and node holder, and usually I don't give a shit what my team is doing. I'm going to, my role is the entire map. So all of this is my role. And I'm usually just watching for if my team is dying, or not, and that dictates how I play. But you can play any role in solo and just tell people to, you know, if they're being like, no one's gonna tell you to swap, I guess I should say that.
Okay.
Even on support, like, because of how ANET's balanced, like, you're still doing a modest amount of damage, and as a support you are pretty survivable, so you could genuinely play a bunker role while playing a support class. Depends, of course it depends, like I wouldn't do it on core guard, but you could play more support. Like Tempest can do that pretty well. Core guard is pretty good at burst team fight healing, but Tempest is very sustainable. A lot of that you're gonna figure out as you play and learn builds. And builds, I cannot guide you in what builds you should play, because it depends on the role you're playing, and also like it will change based on the meta. Even DP Thief, which is what I am playing right now, there was a version for a while that was running Shadow Arts, but then ANET changed things, and so it went back to running Deadly Arts instead, and I didn't realize that the meta shifted, and so I was being very unsuccessful on Shadow Arts Thief because it was meta, but it wasn't. I mean, I was still pretty okay, but I didn't feel good about it. The games I won, I felt like I was getting carried rather than me forcing wins. So now I can feel like I'm forcing wins, because I'm not playing exactly meta, and I'm not playing exactly what Syndrunner plays, but I am playing very similar to what Syndrunner plays on DP Thief. Syndrunner is probably one of the best thieves, period. And so I watched him and figured out what he does and how he does it to some extent. Something with the point gain doesn't... See, this is where I'm confused about my math. Something about the point gain doesn't match up. I'm just going to capture all the points, and I want to see how long it takes to get 500.
Here's the question. Give us the unethical PvP tips. How do you win trade? How do you abuse the LFC system? The matchmaking system?
All of those require playing duo queuing with somebody, then I don't duo queue. Other questions?
What would you say is the line between, like, you know, really trying and tunnel vision, right? Because I mean, it's easy to throw your all into a fight and then sort of, you know, realize you're losing when you've lost. But like, you know, where do you think the line lies between, yeah, we still got this, or though maybe we all run?
This takes experience. It's really hard to just say it. The way I have figured that out, and as a thief especially, I have to figure that out hard because my life can be much harder than other classes in team fights. Like, I'll think we won a fight, but then we didn't. So I am always watching my party's HP bar in team fights. So top left is where their HP bars are going to be. And I'm also watching the bottom right, which is the opposite corner of each other.
Yeah, one eye on the sheets, one eye on the streets.
Yeah. Because I'm still gotta pay attention in the fight. But if I'm able to pay attention enough in the fight, like I beat someone down, I'll like quickly glance at the two and see what's up and determine, okay, should I be here or should I move? At the beginning of a game, for example, what can happen is you have one person going close. You have one person on your team. Okay, we're red or we're blue. So one person went close. 4 people went mid, and on their team, one person went close. 2 people went mid, and 2 people went far. Now, if these 2 people at mid are smart, they're not going to full engage on the mid fight because it's a 2v4. They're gonna lose. But if these 2 people beat down our person who went close fast enough, they're gonna start the game with 2 points and to one that could be captured or neutral depending on how good those 2 players that went mid are. Now say if it's a 1-3-1 split, if there's a fight that we won, like we got it down and they're still in down state, you can expect the person that was close to maybe come mid to support, or you want to keep watch on your close because, and this happens a lot, the person who crossed to close just completely obliterates the other person that went far, and now you've got someone lost a 1v1, and this fight is about to become a 4v4 again, because this person still has to capture the point. So if I left to say go here, I've made the fight a 4v3, and potentially, especially if my team was low enough, if it's a 4v3 and they had a down state before, like if someone on their team rallies while there was that fight going on, it's kind of fucked. You will lose. I'm gonna time something because with this because I want to figure out how many points I'm gaining in a minute, which it should in theory be. Wait, it's 3 points per 2 seconds. But okay, give me a moment, and I'm gonna time this. Yeah. Okay.
That'd be 90 points a minute.
90 points a minute. Okay, thank you. It's because it's 3 points every 2 seconds. Yeah, 90 points a minute. Never mind. My calculation was wrong. So let me recalc on point gain real quick, just so I can correct that.
What's your question? Did we ask Dean if Dean knows about PvP armor and gear? I forgot how we done that.
That's part of
PvP
builds.
has. I know how PvP works. I mean,
Okay,
how
just
the
like-
armor works. You set it's separate from everything else.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. I forgot if that was mentioned.
Yeah, that's part of builds, and I honestly don't talk about builds, because like you'll be able to go to a guide
every
site for
content creator who wants to tell me what to play.
Yeah. I'll be 100% real. It took me about 30 minutes to find how long it takes to cap and decap nodes because content creators aren't talking about it. So 90 times 15. Okay. 1350 is the number.
Number what?
1350, if you started with 53 points at the start of the match, how many points there are to the game.
Hey, what? Cause like, is that you're saying how long it would take to win the game with 3 points? I don't think that math is correct. It should be like, what, 5.5 minutes ish.
No, I mean, so if you're gaining 90 points per minute, if you started a game with 3 nodes instantly, in 15 minutes you would gain 1,350 points.
Oh, yeah.
So, so that, with what I've been talking about, that does make points still more valuable.
Your team
but
is victorious.
that doesn't take away from what I was talking about before, with time and how long things take.
8:51. It took what, 6 minutes, 10 seconds?
Yeah. Took about 6 minutes, 10 seconds, with a thief capping instantly.
The match starts soon.
Hello, Coliseum.
So I do want to demonstrate a thing, Exet. We're just gonna sit in mid and auto each other,
Okay.
and then we're gonna do that,
Hold on to your
and
points. Seize
then we're
theirs.
also going to we're gonna change it up, and we're gonna have one of us capture it, and then we're gonna sit on a captured point and auto each other. And meanwhile, Steen can ask more questions.
I have this problem in everything I do with education where, like, I'm like, oh wow, the teacher explained it so well. And then later when I'm doing the thing, I'm like, I have so many questions.
Mm-hmm.
So give me a bit to think.
Line of sights are important, as you can see here.
Yes.
You've captured the field.
While you're thinking, why I demonstrated this is that with us autoing each other, we were just autoing each other for 30 seconds before the point was capped, before something happened, essentially. Fights can last a very long time. Before then we do even the next game, and actually I'm gonna do. There's a command. I am going to end this game and play something that is can actually fight.
Your team is victorious.
And then I'm gonna all I'm gonna do is survive. Like Exet and I'm not gonna try to kill Exet, but we're just gonna both survive as long as we can. On a point. Or around a point, I should say. Not necessarily on a point. And Exet will just go mid.
Hold on to your points. Seize theirs. An enemy ship is pulling into the harbor. It's the Capricorn.
So let's just fight here, but not try to kill each other. We're gonna survive, but we're still fighting. So this fight took a minute, and that sounds actually pretty normal. It took a minute, taking a little bit longer to actually do the cap because it just does. Yeah, this is like a minute and a half to actually get the point. And then we're gonna do the same thing, but I'll have the capture point. And it's not gonna start when Exec gets to the point either. It's gonna start when, like, as soon as I see Exec. But Exec's gonna try their best to get to the point.
you say it's typically like more fruitful to solo queue and just do your thing, or try to work with like a partner or two?
I
Like,
mean,
because it feels like solo queuing really benefits roamers and bunkers. But if you were gonna play a support or a damage class, you would want to at least partner with someone else.
yeah, that can certainly be a thing. Um, I like playing, by myself, so I will often, just what does that kill? Rip. So it definitely can be good to play with a partner. Especially if you're like comfortable with somebody. I've tried playing with um people, and because I play bunkers, um I don't actually play with them. So it's kind of weird. And exact, you can just go mid again. It gets a little funky doing it that way. But I think you can certainly play by yourself, and be fine. So you can certainly do it.
Here's something I think I've heard mixed sayings about. Can you queue with 5 people all the time, or is that only for tournaments?
That's only for
Yes,
tournaments.
and unranked.
And
And
unranked,
unranked.
okay.
I'm about to stomp this Jover.
Yeah, that's only for unranked. But yeah, if you're gonna queue with somebody, it's fun to it can be more fun to queue with somebody, and just talk with them in voice chat.
Social game.
Oh yeah, I forgot to say, I'm surprised I didn't say this. Turn off chat. Like, just have a different chat tab for PvP. I usually just go into a combat tab and just look
Yo,
there.
yo,
Because people suck.
The gamer age.
Yeah,
You
people
ever
suck.
played League of Legends? Well, you gotta get the experience.
Oh boy.
The thing is, you're gonna get that in anything
Yeah.
that's like anywhere near competitive, because people can't handle their emotions.
Gamers gamer rage.
So yeah,
If people really need to communicate, they'll like ping the map or
yes,
something.
they'll ping you, they'll ping a target, they'll ping the map. My thoughts is generally that, like, there's nothing somebody can tell me in the time it takes to play a map that's going to make me a better player. Is how I think about it. So I decide not to interact because it's not going to make me a better player. It's just going to make me upset.
I will also share on this as a reformed League of Legends player. When I actually did the same when I played League. When I would join a match, I literally just mute everybody else in the game. And also, yes, as much as I shit on Guild Wars 2, League obviously has a much more toxic player base in my experience in PvP. So I stopped playing. Well, no, the reason that finally got me to stop playing was the sexual harassment lawsuit. But yes, that's besides the point.
Yeah, Guild Wars 2 is not nearly as bad. Partly because because League of Legends actually has an esports scene, people think they're gonna get somewhere, when they suck. But Guild Wars 2, like, eventually people just play. You'll meet people that just like playing PvP and they like being competitive and they like winning.
Yeah.
Rather than people who are like, I think I'm gonna stake my life on this. And you're also generally not gonna fight 12-year-olds. Um, so because Guild Wars 2 PvP isn't that popular. If you queue at certain times, like if you queue at a time, you'll start seeing the same people while you're playing during that time. Because, you know, there aren't enough people playing PvP to get you new people every time.
Yeah.
So you'll start seeing people more than once. I've certainly had that before, and I'm like, I've especially in the 2v2 and 3v3 mini seasons, you'll see the exact same people for like 10 rounds, and it'll just mix up who's where on what team, which is really fun to adapt to, because then you start like figuring out how they play and how their build works rather than going by conventions of knowing animations and stuff. You start playing mind games and different strategies against people, the same people. That can be fun. But I think Conquest, when you're playing the 5v5s, it's more about understanding how the game works and how classes work and when damage is coming than playing like a ton of mind games with people. Especially at the level that you're going to be playing at. You're not playing, you know, plat plus level. You're going to be playing silver, maybe gold if once you get a better understanding of how you play.
Yeah, baby mode.
Yeah, it's better to understand the game and watching animations than being like, I can mind game this person into thinking to do something else. And if you play the game right, you're gonna start winning more until you are playing people that you're getting out skilled and out mechanicked by, and then you need to work on those. Because you're just gonna you'll reach a wall essentially.
Okay.
That is what I've been learning on Thief, because I've been learning Thief for a long time. Thief is incredibly difficult to play. And it's very easy to tell when a thief is better than you. And it's very easy to tell when you're better than the other thief. So I've finally reached a point where I'm finally feeling like I'm playing better than the other thieves, both mechanically and on the map. And so I'm noticing that in my wins lately, and noticing that, yeah, I'm doing thief carries. Despite my team pinging at me or telling me to go different places, I'm basically telling them to fuck off, and then we win the game anyway.
Okay. I guess the most important question is, even though you like to play alone, will you host some thought PvP nights?
Sure. I don't mind.
Nice.
I
can't do this upcoming week, but in the future. My god, imagine thoughts in the tournament.
In one of the tournaments.
Well, we don't have a PvP team. Nobody ever does it enough to use it. Our PvP team's called Hosting Blows.
So, like, yeah, that can be a thing. And I will be fine hosting some nights. We just need to coordinate. And we can do unranked if you don't feel comfortable doing rank.
Well, I'm perfectly comfortable doing rank. I just have to unlock it.
Yeah.
Which I'm happy to do by myself, just to like save everyone the time.
Yeah. And I do. I mean, I know I said, you know, just play rank. If I don't feel well, I'm not gonna play rank, or if I'm learning a build, I won't play rank. Like, I was trying to learn Spectre, and I was like, there's no way I'm bringing this into rank, because all I'm gonna do is feed. And that is what happened. By the way, I just fed, and I was like, I don't like it. So then I went to playing DP Thief again, because Spectre felt weird. There's a lot going on with Spectre. But yeah, so there's nothing wrong with playing unrank. It is literally just less rules. So. Because rank, you get if you're watching my stream,
Mhm.
you get these chests, and like if you're even the first chest, you get 5 gold for completing it, as well as ascended shards, PvP league tokens, unidentified dies. You get these, and you do not get these playing unranked. And you
Right.
get
What about
points whether you win or lose.
the best game mode in PvP, Stronghold?
I've heard tale of Stronghold.
Yeah, if you want to do Stronghold, play it. Yeah, I I think I've played Stronghold once.
I've actually enjoyed Stronghold a bit personally, but Stronghold is literally just like it's MOBA. It's like you like League or what's the 3D one? Smite. You like Smite? Well, that's basically it.
But yeah, I'm gonna end the recording real quick. So like, when this goes online, thanks for watching. Don't flame me too much in the comments.
Seriously?
I do well.
Join thoughts on Guild Wars 2.
If you're 18, yeah, 18 or up.
Yeah, if you're 18.
But yeah, no, I'm not even a good player technically. I am in gold. I usually am in higher gold, but I'm still just in gold. But I have a lot of competitive experience in other games and watch basically all the things, and no one really talks about the goals of the game. So hopefully this has been helpful.
Be
Thank
sure to
you.
like and
Bye.
subscribe.